Welcome to the Fashion Translator. I'm Claire, your host. Together we explore how AI and innovation are reshaping the fashion industry through creativity, technology, and global partnership. For today's episode, I'm excited to welcome Andy Fine, founder of Sartoro, an all-online custom suit and formal wear brand making premium, made-to-measure menswear accessible without the traditional price tag or the trip to the tailor. Andy, thank you so much for joining me today. Could you start by introducing yourself and sharing with us what inspired you to build your company?
Hi, Claire. Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. Like you said, my name's Andy. I'm founder of Sartoro. The company was started, well, the idea was conceived a long time ago when I was going to be in a wedding as a groomsman right out of college. And the groom wanted us to buy expensive custom suits from the local tailor in town, the local brand. I won't say what that brand name was. Good brand, but the suits were very, very expensive, especially for a kid out of college. I think they were over $1,200, $1,300. And I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. It was a little difficult for all of us. A couple of the groomsmen were from outside of town. We weren't living in the Boston area where we were at the time. So it was a little difficult to coordinate with everyone what we were going to do for the wedding. And that kind of sparked the idea that, there had to be a better way, and ultimately became what is now Sartoro.
Would you say that this was like your light bulb moment? And from this, the idea to integrate tech combined with bespoke tailoring?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a light bulb moment. It was something that I sat on for a while. I was working in finance at the time. I didn't immediately start Sartoro. It was a bit of an evolution for me where I dabbled in e-commerce for a bit in other areas, worked on another suiting brand before I ultimately came back to building out Sartoro. So it was kind of an evolution. It was a bit of a journey, which I think is what happens for any entrepreneur, anyone starting a business. It's not a linear progression. There's, waves and valleys and different periods you go through, phases you go through before you get to that destination that you're targeting.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a bit more about some of the challenges that came through that you overcome and turn around when it came to the fit, the relationship with the customer, the cost, like to reach where you are at today.
Sure, yeah. One of the advantages of custom clothing is also one of its biggest disadvantages for a business owner, right? We don't have to stock inventory of a bunch of different standard sizes, right? I don't have a
Yeah.
warehouse with 30, 42 regulars, 42 shorts, 42 longs, and then 44, 46, 40, 38,
Yeah.
etc. So we don't have those inventory costs, right? And you multiply that by every fabric you cover. Our
Yeah.
inventory is just fabric, right? So it's
Yeah.
much easier for us to be able to offer a wide range of suits and garments without having to carry this massive inventory burden. Our inventory is only fabric. The
Yeah.
downside of that is sizing has to be spot on. It has to be really good, right? You're not going to be happy as a customer if you get a suit, custom suit that you're paying, a good amount for and it doesn't fit. So we had to invest really heavily in how we were going to get fit right in an online experience where we don't actually get to meet the customer, and we might have a video call with them sometimes, but typically we don't get to meet with them. What can we do to make sure we're going to get them not only a good fit, but a great fit, much better than they could get off the rack in a store? And there's a lot of different pieces that went into building that technology, from different partners we worked with to building our own systems on the back end. And I think the challenge to kind of answer your question is there are a lot of moving parts in that. The human body has a lot of different moving parts and different ways that weight can be distributed, right? So we had to
Yeah.
figure out how do we take all of these different inputs that we're getting, whether it's predicted measurements from a third party that we work with, or our own analysis, or sizing data from the industry. How do we take all of that and make sense of it in a way that's going to produce an output that gets a great fit the vast majority of the time? And that was definitely a challenge early on, and it's still something we always work on improving, every day, every week, every month.
Yeah, I think so. That now that we've covered a bit the behind the scene with this heavy investment in technology towards fits, walk us a bit through the journey of in front of the curtain. What when a client connects with you, what's the process for them from the first contact all the way to receiving their custom needs.
So what Sartoro set out to do was bring that traditional bespoke experience online, if you will, right? So you think of
Yeah,
traditionally, if you went into an outlier, you went into a suit store, you'd see a rep there, they'd talk to you about what are you looking for, and show you different fabrics. Right? You
yeah,
can effectively do that online. You can order fabric samples. We'll ship them right to your door. Super easy process. You get to see and feel the fabrics in the same way you would in store. The next thing you want to do is, okay, what kind of style are you looking for? What type of suit do you want? Do you want a single-breasted suit, a double-breasted, two-button, three-button, six-button? What color buttons? What color lining?
yeah.
All the different choices you can make. So we developed our suit designer, our configurator, where someone can go through and visually design the suit in real time and actually see what it's going to look like, when they purchase it. So they have full control, just like they would in the store, but
Mm,
kind of in an elevated way, they can actually see it too. In a store, you're just kind of picking from options. You can actually see what it's going to look like.
yeah,
You can see in our visualizer online. And now we've recently added even the ability to virtually try on garments too, where you can upload a photo yourself and see what a suit will look like on you, which is super cool and very
yeah.
helpful, I think, for people. It's been quite well received. So you have the fabrics, you have the customization, you have seeing what it'll look like on you, and then the last step is the fit. And for that, a customer will go through our digital tailor. And our digital tailor is an application we built. It takes about 2 minutes. You don't have to pick up a tape measure. It'll ask you a series of questions that you should already know. How tall are you? How much do you weigh? What's your typical jacket size and pant size? And some body type questions. You go through that. You add a few photos if you'd like, and that's going to give us generally everything we need to build a full custom fit profile for you. And that's it. Then you just sit back and relax. Our team gets to work, takes about 3 weeks for standard shipping, and we even have a 2 week and a 1 week option for those who need it a little bit quicker.
I think there's very good angles here because if we think about a suit, when you invest in a suit, you spend a lot more than you would in a t-shirt. And I think that even sometimes if you think about they go to the store, like, or to the tailor, most of the clients don't even have, like, at first thought, like the first time you buy your first suit, let's say, you don't realize off the bat how much detail there actually is and how much the change of a collar shape or a button size, all of these small details can actually change the overall look at the end. Uh, can have all of these small details add up to a big impact. So I think, and even you can have the options in front of you, but without seeing how they would combine together and create and harmonize together to create a style that's truly you. I think that's a great value compared to the traditional tailor method.
Yeah, no, and it's a balance of trying to avoid paralysis by analysis and having too many options. And so a customer can come in and just add a suit to the cart as is, as it's shot on the model. They don't have to design the whole thing.
Mhm.
The option is there. And even when they do, they're never starting from scratch, right? So if you're not
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
well, should I pick notch or peak lapels? You're not sure, you can always leave it as is, and how we've styled it on the models always going to be good. It's the same with the measurements too, right? Some people
yeah,
want the easiest way. Our digital tailor is super easy. Some customers, they want to give us full measurements, right? They're more specific on what they want. We have the
yeah,
option for them to do that, but it's not required, right? So it gives people the ability to kind of dictate how much control they want to have, how much specificity they want to provide and request, when they're doing it. So it kind of caters to both types of consumers that just give it to me how you recommend it as quick as possible. And I want to, dial in every single element of this and every single
Mhm.
piece of it, as precisely as possible.
So if we look at both end of that spectrum, so the ones that already have their exact measurement, that already really know what they want, they have the freedom to go all in. But if we look towards the newer consumer, the ones that maybe like are at their first purchase, how do you navigate this gray zone that they can measure themselves, but at the end of the day, it's them at their home? What the support looks like on that side to make sure that at the end, the fit is still to this premium made to measure experience.
Yeah, great question. I think what we've gotten, I'd say probably our biggest skill set as a company and what we do with Fit, it's not actually being able to take good measurements and make a great fit from them. I think our biggest skill set's actually being able to spot incorrect measurements, incorrect data that we get from customers, and know whether to disregard that data, whether to have it influence what we are making in the final measurements that we use, or if it's something we should go back and ask the customer again for to double check with. And so our ability to do that, I think, goes a long
Yeah.
way because we get bad data a lot. It's never, or it's rarely every measurement is bad. But
Yeah.
there might be times where the customer provides a lot of good measurements that we're like, yep, these make sense. They
Mm.
jive with the photos they provided, but the shoulder's way off, or the jacket length they provided is way too short. And so
Mm.
we never just blindly make it based on what the customer, what measurements they provide us. We always check it. We'll massage the numbers as needed or reach out to the customer based on our experience to give it what we believe is the best chance of getting a great fit. And that's proven to be extremely effective for us. We've gotten very, very good at it.
That's a great insight. You can tell, like, so you have the technology element, you have the client input, but we can really tell this level of deep expertise that actually backs up the whole thing and make it successful.
Yeah, a lot of data points, a lot of past orders, right? So if someone who's, let's say they're 5'11", 180 pounds, and they order, well, we might have 400 past customers that were 5'11", 180. So we can start to compare the different data points we have. And so if someone says, oh, my pants waist size is 36. We might look at our data and say, hey, that seems pretty high compared to what we'd expect. Let's look at the
Yeah.
customer's photos. They don't seem to make sense. Let's reach back out and say, hey, this seems high. Can you confirm this is correct? And maybe let's get a belt line measurement off you just so we can make sure we get this right for you. It's a kind of this can be an iterative process, and it can be the case where we say, hey, we know that's wrong. We can see the photos of the customer like, yeah, you're not a size 36. We're going to make it a 34. And 9 times out of 10 or more, we're correct in the decisions we make.
That's solid back process. If we look at where your business is now and vision for the future, let's say, what are some area that you would like to expand on or that you have your eyes on, either within menswear market or outside of it as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think what we're shooting towards is continuing on down that mission of bringing the bespoke experience online, where when you come to the website, as much as is possible, and it's getting more and more possible with the AI and the tools out there, as much as possible, you feel like you just walked into a store, right?
Mm.
And there's someone there who you can talk to, you can chat with. That feels like a person that you walked into a store and you can ask questions. This is what I'm looking for. What do you think? We have 225 suits
Yeah.
online right now. It's a lot, right? It's a lot to
Yeah.
pick from, choose from. There's different fabric types, there's different styles. It can
Yeah.
be overwhelming, right? So we're continuing to push towards how can we make that experience for every customer that comes to the site feel like they walked into the store and they're being taken care of? How can we continue to improve the design process to guide them along the way as they're doing it so that it's, not confusing? Right? Which one should I pick? Should I get the white buttons or the black buttons? Which ones are going to look better on this fabric? Right now, they can
Yeah.
see it, but they don't have someone who's necessarily saying, well, in our opinion, the white buttons are going to look better because it's a lighter fabric, whatever. Moving
Mm.
towards that is a big, big push for us that I think you're going to see a lot of changes from in the next year. Starting with the virtual try-on, which we added about a month ago. And then you're also going to see a push into what we're calling elevated casual, which is going to be short sleeve, button down shirts, custom made shorts, all in the custom made family, but in a
Yeah.
less formal type of
Right.
garment. It's more of what people will wear on a regular basis so that we can help customers who really love the suit they got from us, but they don't necessarily need another one, but they want
Yeah.
shirts, they want shorts, they want casual pants. They love the fit of
Of
what we got
course.
them. They want more of it in different types of garments.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. Once you have, like, once they get to trust the fit and the quality, once the relationship is there and they know that what they will receive fits them, lasts them long, they enjoy it, they're comfortable in it, definitely the expansion there is like the natural next step for anyone who would buy first the
Yeah.
suit and then maybe transitioning towards the entire wardrobe. So we covered a bit the expansion for the future, but if we look at today, what aspect of your business has most of your focus?
Good question. I think for me right now, on the back end for our business, from an owner's perspective, we're working really hard on driving efficiency and streamlining our operations, the factory operations, our support operations, and our order processing operations, so that we can be positioned to scale without sacrificing quality in any of those
Right.
areas. When you're building a business, there's different levels of quantity you can handle with certain types of processes in place, or we
Yeah.
could say lack of systems in place to a low volume, right? Very
Yeah.
easily. And then you can get to a medium volume with some basic systems in place. But as you start to get to scale, if you
Yeah.
don't want your customer service quality to drop, if you don't want your product quality to drop, if you don't want to start making mistakes, especially in our case, because we don't outsource production, we actually own our production. So
Yeah.
especially in case. We have to build very robust systems that are thinking ahead, right? Our systems right now
Correct.
can handle our order volumes no problem. But if we have double or triple or quadruple the amount of orders we have,
Yeah. Then
it's a
it would
different
be.
equation. So that's my big focus is on preparing for our growth we've been trending towards and moving towards for a while now.
And if I were to give you a magic wand, what would be one thing you would automate today that could run without manual effort?
For me, it would be the order processing, which is probably the hardest part because analyzing those measurements, like we talked about, is a
Yeah.
very manual human process. And there are parts of it that can be streamlined without losing and in some ways even increasing the precision and quality beyond what I could do or someone on my team can do by implementing, machine learning that can analyze statistical patterns in the data and identify issues with measurements and identify what's each measurement for each customer that has the highest possible degree of delivering a great fit. That eats up a
Right.
lot of time. It's not scalable as it stands now, and that's a big push that I love to magically say this is completely automated.
Yeah, that would for sure help push forward these very exciting things that are coming, like these expansion on the line and experience for the customer when they join in. I think those are very like two very good upgrades that are coming for you. We'll make sure to keep an eye and to stay in touch for what's coming for you and for Sartoro. A lot of exciting things. For the listener who wants to stay connected, all the handles and the link to stay in touch with Andy will be in the description. Andy, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Claire. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining the conversation today. If you're a founder conscious of the challenges of today, do get in touch to discover how we future-proof your business for tomorrow.